There is a health crisis in the Jewish community that we often don't talk enough about. 1 in 40 Ashkenazi Jews, people born male and female, carry the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene mutation, compared to 1 in 400 in general populations. Care Shabbat, care, congregations advocating regular exams, can sum up the words of Care Shabbat in 3 words: screening saves lives. Screening saves lives. Knowing your own personal risk allows you to be proactive about screening and preventative surgeries if necessary. It also allows you to pass life-saving health information on to your children and grandchildren, because knowledge is power. Know your family cancer and general health history and share that information. Take a genetic test if it's the right thing. No matter what your hereditary risk, everyone should be proactive about their health to lower risk and appropriate cancer screenings. And listen to your body. Don't put off appointments if something doesn't feel right. If you see something, if you feel something, say something. Our speaker today, EllynDavidson, is a 16-year breast cancer survivor determined to make a difference in the world of cancer. She's the mother of 3 young children with a hardworking, supportive, and dedicated husband. She's the managing partner of Brogan & Partners, a fantastic company with a staff of strategic, creative, and hardworking individuals creating cutting-edge marketing communications solutions for over 25 years. She is forever grateful to her wonderful family, friends, and coworkers who helped her through 9 months of surgeries, chemo treatments, doctor's appointments, and tests, and more. She's a board member of Make-A-Wish Michigan, and Ellen serves as an inspiration for other women battling breast cancer and speaks about her journey to help encourage and motivate others. I'm pleased to give a B'nai Moshe welcome home to EllynDavidson.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It was early 2007. I was 36 years old with a 6-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old, keeping me very busy. I sat down to preview a television advertising spot that my advertising agency, Brogan & Partners, had created for St. John Health. In this spot, we told the story of a woman who discovered a lump and was diagnosed with breast cancer. I always knew the importance of self-breast exams, but like so many women, I didn't do them. For some reason, this advertising message really hit home. I went home that day and became obsessed with checking my breasts. It didn't take long to discover a lump. Like many others, I thought of all the things it could be. A blocked milk duct, I just finished breastfeeding, a small cyst, anything, but definitely not cancer. I went to my doctor and he was also sure it was nothing, but he sent me to get a mammogram and an ultrasound. The mammogram was completely normal. And during my ultrasound, the radiologist thought maybe she saw something, but she was sure it was a benign cyst. And you know what? She told me to come back in 6 months if the lump was still there. But that television spot kept playing in my mind. And when I met with my doctor, we both agreed that 6 months was just too long to wait. He sent me to a surgeon and I made an appointment. The surgeon also thought it was nothing. Said, I've been doing this a long time. I really don't think it's anything. But we scheduled a date for a biopsy regardless. On August 2nd, 2007, on a Thursday night at 9:30, my phone rang. It was my surgeon. I was still convinced that lump was nothing. I went on and on about telling him how great I was feeling, how I was healing, how I didn't have any pain. It was all good. And that's when he stopped me and said those 3 little words that really changed my life forever. We found cancer. I was certain they had mixed up my lump with the woman across from me in pre-op. She and my mindset was more of a candidate, but I quickly realized that just doesn't happen. I was supposed to spend the next day hanging out with my, by this time, 1-year-old and some friends. I canceled those plans. I went for a bone scan, an appointment with an oncologist, a chest x-ray, and blood work. Now keep in mind, I was still thinking, how could it be me? I didn't have a family history. Not my mother, not my grandmother, not my aunt, not my cousin. But because of my age, my doctor sent me to a genetics counselor. The night before that appointment, I actually got a phone call from my dad's older cousin. I sort of remembered that her and her sister were both cancer survivors, but they were so much older than me and had other risk factors that could have caused cancer. I actually barely even knew them, so they just seemed like such distant relatives to me. But during our conversation, Judy mentioned that she and her sister both had a BRCA gene mutation. So of course, in my appointment the next day, I mentioned this to my genetics counselor. They asked me more about my family history. My dad was an only child. His mother had 4 brothers. So as far as we knew, there wasn't any other cancer in my family. They drew blood, and I left. Within 2 to 3 weeks, I was back in their office. I met with the genetics counselor again, and as suspected, I did have a BRCA mutation, the exact same mutation as Judy and her sister Dina. Over the next 9 months, I had 4 surgeries, 6 chemo treatments, MRIs, echocardiograms, doctor's appointments, x-rays, you name it. Up until then, I was just busy being a mom for my 3 young children. I was working, being a wife, going to soccer games, cleaning the house, all the things that many people my age do. Today, I am a 16-year survivor of breast cancer. My kids are 17, 21, and 23. I realize just how lucky I am to have experienced birthdays, bar and bat mitzvahs, high school graduations, college graduation, and everything in between. I've watched my kids compete in soccer games, tennis matches, baseball games, swim meets, and bodybuilding competitions. I purchased the company that saved my life and now get to run a wonderful company with 31 of the best employees with a mission to make a positive difference in people's lives. I've had the opportunities to serve on boards and help other organizations make a difference in people's lives, including FORCE, Facing Our Risk of Cancer Empowered, Winning Futures, BBYO, Make-A-Wish Michigan, and the Michigan Amber Alert Foundation. And I had the amazing, amazing honor and wonderful opportunity to serve as a committee member for the CDC on the Advisory Committee on Breast Cancer in Young Women. Over the years, I've also had the opportunity to mentor hundreds of women diagnosed with breast cancer to help them get through treatment and understand there is light on the other side of a very dark moment. But I also remember the women who fought so hard and endured so much, but in the end, their cancer was just more aggressive, and they are no longer physically with us. It is for these women, for all the breast cancer survivors, for our daughters and our sisters, that I will never stop spreading my message. Over the years, I've been lucky to work with some amazing organizations. As I mentioned, I was a board member for over 5 years for FORCE. I want to highlight a few of those organizations because I know how much they could benefit other people and just being aware of them. I know Sharing and Caring is a partner in this initiative. But in addition to that, I saw some brochures on the table from Sharsheret. Sharsheret specifically focuses on the lives of Jewish people living with or at an increased risk of breast and ovarian cancer. They offer programming, emotional support, mental health support, critical education, and financial subsidies. Share that information with anyone you know that could use it. Force advocates, they provide support, they help fill clinical trials, and they provide education to people facing hereditary cancer. It is because of Force and other organizations that we have rights when we get genetic testing so that we cannot be denied for certain insurances. Locally, there's some wonderful, wonderful organizations, the New Day Foundation for Families, Shades of Pink Foundation, and the Pink Fund. They help alleviate the financial stress of cancer by providing financial assistance and support for non-medical bills, things like groceries, house payments, gas, and other essential expenses. I was so lucky to not need this support, but so many women and people going through cancer face the very real risk of financial toxicity. And finally, when we talk about screening, you can see a genetics counselor at a local hospital, or you can reach out to J-Screen Detroit. That's a program of the day, and they'll provide screening kits through the mail, along with a virtual genetics counselor to support you with your results. So there's no excuse to put off testing and knowing your risk. There are so many more that I haven't mentioned, but there are lots of organizations out there making a difference. So as I close today, here's what I want you to remember. We have to be advocates for our own health and vigilant with our screenings. We have to know that when it comes to a breast lump, we need to take action, even if it seems to be absolutely nothing. We have to understand that women in their 20s and 30s can and do get breast cancer. And we have to be aware that family history of breast or ovarian cancer is an indicator. And although most of us are aware of the BRCA1 and 2 mutation, today there are 24 known cancer-causing mutations. And as the rabbi mentioned, being Jewish puts you at a higher risk of having one of those mutations. 1 in 40 Ashkenazi Jews. And finally, we have to continue raising awareness, supporting organizations, helping our friends, sharing messages with the community, with our community members, and being there and supporting our friends and family when they face a cancer diagnosis.